Hello everyone, hello dear kindred, and welcome to another night. So, how are you? How is everyone? Hello Narancha. Oh, sorry you can't make the stream, but I hope you have a good Thanksgiving as well. Okay, so tonight we will be playing Vampire the Masquerade Shadows of New York. Now, this is one of two Vampire the Masquerade visual novels developed by oh, I just completely forgot the name of the developer. And let's see, I'm gonna start look at the credits real quick. Maybe that will tell me. Draw Distance, right? They're called Draw Distance. Yeah. So there's two of them. There's Coteries of New York and the Shadows of New York. Now, we do have both of them. And they're actually both releasing on consoles next year. It's a nice physical edition, and we'll both of them in one release. Hello, Georgina. And they're both queer, which is really cool. So the first one, Coteries of New York, you can actually pick between three characters: a Toreador, a Brua, and a Ventru. And I believe the Toreador is a queer character. We could be wrong, but that's what we recall. And in this one, you play as a specific woman who is a vampire and dating another woman. So both of the Vampire the Masquerade visual novels are girls love visual novels, and that's awesome. That is the best thing. Now, we played one Vampire the Masquerade game before on stream. We played Blood Hunt, the early access Battle Royale game. We didn't have a great time with that, in part because of its early access status, and in part because, well, our computer just didn't handle it as well as we would have liked. But, you know, what can you do? Hopefully this will be better. It's a visual novel, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue to run. Both these games are currently on sale as well, and when we put the VOD up, we will link to the Steam page for Shadows of New York, so that if anyone wants to check it out, they can do so. We should also mention that we have bought Vampire the Masquerade Redemption, which is the I want to say 1998 RPG. Was it later? Maybe it was 2000, but it was around that time, end of the 90s, early 2000. It's a nice little classic RPG, and we will be playing that as well. And at some point, we will also, of course, be playing the fan favorite, which is Bloodlines. So look forward to plenty more Vampire the Masquerade in the future. But of course, tonight is Shadows of New York's night. Gotta check my settings real quick. There we go. Okie dokie. And here we are. Probably don't need to set my OBS to performance mode for this, right? Like it's a visual novel. Should be fine. Oh, oops, I clicked the wrong button. What did I do? Okay, no, never mind. Sorry. Actually, we said OBS. We're actually using Streamlabs. We switched to Streamlabs just before we started streaming on Twitch. When we were streaming on YouTube, we were using OBS. But we've been trying to get used to Streamlabs now, and maybe we should just go back to OBS. We don't know. How's the audio level? If the chat could tell us. I'll turn down the game. Okay. We'll do so. How is that? Is that better? I turned the game down just slightly, and I turned ourselves up just a little bit. Also, hello, Errol. Awesome. Okay. Well then, let's go. Now, I've set the game to having slightly larger text, so hopefully it will be easier to read on stream. So here we go. Welcome to my castle. Don't expect everyday logic to work here. We went out the window sometime after midnight. Maybe earlier. My kingdom is not of this world, you see. It lies far outside of concrete, tangible reality. I've tried to identify the way people reach it. I'm convinced it has something to do with the moon. Some say the moon's aura can turn them insane. Oh, that went by fast. You've heard the phrases moonstruck and lunatic. The way I see it, moonlight gives them some subliminal permission to reveal their true selves. And so, yeah, shadows, not Koteris. We'll probably stream Koteris at some point as well, but we're playing shadows tonight. I think the game should be set to Koteris in the description. I mean, shadows. Yeah, it is. And so, whenever they let the silver radiance guide them to the gates of this place, they feel different. Once they pass the doorstep, they're ready to act out. A dance of horrors and marvels begin. It's 3:31 a.m. Welcome to Big Beef Burger. You're here at this hour, you're not exactly readying up to be producing... Maybe we should set this text size back down, because it scrolls by so fast. There. If you're here at this hour, you're not exactly readying up to be a productive member of society come tomorrow morning. More likely, you're praying that the sunrise never comes. Or my schedule. Oh yeah, you're right. We did initially say we were gonna play Koteris. And we changed it because we wanted to play Shadows first, even though it's the second one. Because from what we understood, they were standalone anyway, and Shadows just looked more interesting to us, so we're starting with that one. Insatiable children of the night gather round, hoping to bask in the afterglow of tonight's victories, unwind after a frustrating series of failures, or simply fight to keep themselves together. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting here greedily reveling in every interaction they have. They have no idea they're only here for my amusement. To them, I'm just a random girl sitting in the corner. But this is my domain. I've been coming here almost every night for years. I know where to sit, where to look, and where to eavesdrop for maximum amusement. I'm basically a voyeur, and unashamed to admit it. It gave me insight about the human condition I'd never otherwise have gathered, and more importantly, a necessary skill set to make ends meet as a journalist. As I write on my crappy old laptop patiently waiting for the legion of negative voices in my head to get too tired to offer useless feedback, I keep my senses peeled to pick up stories around me. Of course, a lot of regular events, such as food fights, are nothing to write home about, aside from my unfortunate tendency to become collateral damage in someone else's battles. Up to this day, I've had to wash my clothes because of Coke, Diet Coke, hot coffee, apple pie, and some sort of improvised honey mustard bomb. Every stain tells a different story. Sometimes this hobby is exhausting, sometimes it's disturbing, sometimes it's dangerous, although not as risky as back when I wasn't carrying pepper spray. Still, the sights I've taken in over the years here have made it absolutely worth it. I've got so many stories I don't know where to begin. Theatrical breakups, impromptu morning parties, unexpected friendships forged in the fire of senseless battle. A lady in a gorgeous Givenchy dress. Is it Givenchy? I have no idea. Ordering a box of takeout chicken nuggets, paying in cash with her hands completely covered in blood. She was asked if she wants a napkin. She said no. Two thirsty macho dudes shamelessly going for it in the corner, hushed moaning filling the lobby while everyone around valiantly fights to act as usual and maintain an illusion of normalcy. A straight-up kung fu fight between a diminutive cashier and some drugged bodybuilder going through a psychotic episode, trying to break all the windows. The big guy left the joint fully convinced he knocked out himself while the service worker was just standing next to him. Seemed proud of his victory too. A middle-aged hag getting a heart attack after screaming her lungs out not to let the Muslims near her food just because she saw a white girl wearing a hairnet behind the counter. A masked couple robbing the restaurant of 30 hamburgers, forcing the employees to cook at gunpoint. Police later said that those were art students reenacting some hipster book they read. This is life. This is humanity at its worst and best. This is the noise that serves as the foundation of my creativity. This is the soma that keeps me going. This is... nice suit. As pathetic as it may sound, these days, this is the only place where I feel alive. Sometimes I think of myself as a leech, feeding on these people's stories, emotions, and personalities just because I'm not satisfied with mine. At times I think of my psyche as some kind of shitty postmodern construct that is fundamentally incapable of honesty, but only yearns for something felt and truthful. Does this even make any sense? I look at my screen on my laptop. 3:47 a.m. At this point I'm almost somnambulic, but nothing interesting has happened yet. Feels like all the customers are watching each other tonight, hoping for the others to provide a fun diversion. This is my turf, you parasitic douchebags. Next time go find your own. Think it's time to call it a night? The coffee I always order so that they don't kick me out is undrinkable. Ugh. I reread the rough draft I've been working on for the last 6 hours. God damn, this is pure trash. I hold the backspace button until the Google Documents page is nothing but a calm white slate and let out a sigh of deep relief. There's no pleasure more intoxicating for a frustrated writer than ragging on someone even worse than them. And what target is easier than the dumb bitch you used to be 10 minutes ago? Check the time again. I need to go. I have an important meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m. and I have a hunch it's not going to end well. And it's not because I'm an irresponsible dumbass who's going to need a few cups of coffee to simply function on a basic level despite like 4 hours of sleep. It's because I always have a hunch things are not going the way they're supposed to. Click clack, click click clack. A loud clatter of keyboards assault me from all sides. Makes this splitting headache unbearable. Ooh, nice animation in the background there. Used to be, I dreamed of nothing else. I dreamed of nothing else but being a part of this New York Lodestar editorial, the New York Lodestar editorial team. It was the first magazine I started reading regularly. The first magazine I even bought for myself. Now, simply hearing the word Lodestar is enough to ruin my mood. Never mind seeing all these old farts phoning in more reactionary opinion columns and Wikipedia-level analysis of current events. We do apologize for our slurring of words tonight. Click clack, click click clack. They used to destroy and rebuild my entire worldview every month. They shaped my thinking about politics, art, journalism. They even pointed me towards my favorite cigarette band, for God's sake. Then some talented people started leaving for greener pastures. Some got too wrapped up in their own neurosis. Some became complacent. All of them committed the sin of allowing themselves to grow older. Fresh blood was deemed unnecessary, even though young freelancers kept being bled dry. These days, whenever someone from outside Lodestar talks about Lodestar, it's because of a few idealistic contributors willing to accept meager pay while putting in serious work. Dumbasses. Other than that, the magazine specializes in publishing pale echoes of provocative ideas I heard somewhere else a few years prior, wrapped in an aesthetic that hasn't been cutting edge for a decade. No wonder the readership is in free fall. Even though the ship is sinking, the old guard won't let it go down without a fight. As in, if anyone from the outside attempts to board the vessel in hopes of fixing its course or its hulls, they will be swiftly taken care of. I should know. Been there, done that. As it stands, the only full-time staff member who doesn't make me regularly attempt to cringe my face off with his writing is Lodestar's editor-in-chief, Brian Ng, the man sitting in front of me right now. Of course, he only has time for the editorials these days. A drop in the sea of needs. Managerial duties hit him hard. It's the second time he lets out a theatrical cuff like this. He's said his piece, now it's up for me to react. And I'm coming up blank. What do you want me to say, Brian? I'm pissed off. I can tell you've already made up your mind, but you still want to go through the motions to make me feel listened to. Whatever. Let's do this. Oh, okay. Brian, the guy is guilty of major fraud. The man is a sexual harasser. Brian, you're protecting a complete piece of shit here. Okay. This is an interesting first choice of the game. Okay. So, I guess we're assuming all these three things are true. Well, I mean, the third one is true based on the first two regardless, but... well, let's go with the sexual harassment option. The man is a sexual harasser. Okay. I feel stupid that I even have to say this out loud, but you're essentially covering up for a sexual harasser, Brian. No, I'm not. No, just face it. Let's say the Harvey Weinstein story appeared on your desk instead of reaching the New York Times. Don't you compare me to the Times, you know that's a low blow. You're asking for it. You're not exactly in a position to talk about low blows here. No, that's not the core of the issue. You're avoiding the core of the issue. No, I believe I've pinpointed it in a precise way. If it were up to me, I'd greenlight the article here and now, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. But you're killing the article, just because some rich shithead told you he doesn't like it. Get real. This is not about some millionaire jerk calling me to make an offer I can't refuse. What is this about then? Because it looks awfully like it's about my bosses telling me this outlet can't afford the legal action we've already been threatened with. So, millionaire interference. Oh, for crying out loud, Julia. Don't make me treat you like a child, you know how this works. I publish a story, it's Steele versus Gawker all over again. I lost it here, I lost it there, until we're bled dry. I have a mortgage. I have 3 mouths waiting to be fed at home. I have an amazing team that doesn't deserve to be torn apart over some... Don't you think it's telling you mention your mortgage first? Silence. Just asking questions. I know better than to get into these empty semantic arguments with you, Miss Lewinsky. You're good at them. The problem is you're still not good enough. Meaning... You're too in love with weaving a good story and establishing a seductive narrative until its facts get in the way. We've got enough boarding suits with no principle on board these days. They always give you facts because that's all they do. I'm using facts as a way to approach some kind of truth. Except facts can blindside you, and Double Spiral has enough facts to water down your story to the point where it makes no sense to publish it. Their HR and PR are working overtime to deliver a convincing counter-narrative, and they're doing a great job. Won't mitigate the damage completely, but we'll put every little thing in question. Jesse Montgomery is a racist, a fraud, a sexual predator, and a downright satanic okay, that's a new one. Satanic fuckhead. Julia. Let me say it again. Jesse Montgomery is a racist, a fraud, a sexual predator, and a downright satanic fuckhead. Do you personally believe it or not? It's not. You listened to the tapes, you read the transcripts, you've seen the documents, you got the files. I'm asking for your personal opinion. Do you believe it or not? Click clack, click clack click. Of course I do, but that's beside the point. It's not. Look, how about I just say it out loud and save us both some time? We're not having this conversation because there's an actual conversation. We're not having this conversation because there's an actual conversation to be had. You set up this meeting knowing very damn well there's only one way it's going to end. You got a mortgage and 3 mouths to feed, you prioritize the well-being of your direct surroundings over some nebulous concept of greater good, I get it, I really do. Yet for some reason, it seems like you're only prolonging this conversation and rationalizing your decision so that I forgive you? Officially exonerate you? I'm not the bad guy here, Julia. What are you then? In your own words. A man who does what is necessary to protect his own. So I don't count as your own anymore. He mutters something under his breath, ending with a self-pitying chuckle. I don't even know if you'd want to work under a scumbag like me from now on. Oh, come on, don't turn this into a pity party. No, I'm absolutely a scumbag. And why is that? Because I'm firing you. My thoughts are scrambled. For a brief moment, the state of my bank account displays before my eyes with startling clarity. Oh my god, so I'm gonna move my cell phone because it keeps vibrating. Sorry, hold on. Gotta love how, like, people insist on writing to you pretty much only when you have announced that you are busy. Okay, where were we? A howling void opens in my chest and starts traveling towards my stomach. No, don't panic yet, you idiot. Get more information, now. There must be a catch. Is this final? It told me there would be consequences if the outlet ever picks up your work again. I shouldn't even be telling you that. Did everything in my power to change their mind? I'm sorry. They? What they? Who is this they? He glances left and right, and then points upward for a short moment. He speaks up again. It's in a hushed voice. You know, the big gonas. Can't really question them, and they wanted your head on a silver plate. He's not looking me in the eye. You're not joking. I would never joke about stuff like this. It's real. Fucking hell, it's real. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it all to hell. All these years, all this grind, all my plans, and for what fucking asshole? You know I deserve better, and I always deserve better, and it always ends with me going down the drain back to the sewers. Fuck! Interesting choice of depicting the thoughts, like, rambly, without punctuation, without capitalization and stuff like this. No, Take a few deep breaths. Don't lose the plot now. Keep yourself together, you idiot. The moment you show weakness, they go for your throat. Get back in control. You can't do this. I wish I didn't have to, but it's a lost cause. No, I mean, it's impossible. Julia, you can't fire someone who's never been hired in the first place. It takes him a few seconds to put his "oh, I get it" face, let out a troubled gasp and start massaging his temples. Lodestar has been my biggest source of income for the past few years, that much is true, but technically, nobody has ever hired me here. It was all freelance jobs. A full-time position only served as a kind of a dangling carrot. A promise of a decent pay grade, career perspectives, maybe even some kind of insurance to save my failing health. The recognition I would get for being part of the Lodestar team, a position that everyone around me seems to respect aside from me. But why did I want it so much? There will be time to mourn what could have been. For now, I should act like I don't care. You know what I mean. If I let you work, even under a fake name, it would be a guillotine for me. This is ridiculous. You know I'm going to start shopping the store around the second I leave this room, don't you? Of course I know, I told them. Any response? Let us worry about that. Oh, that doesn't sound ominous at all. Click clack, click clack, click. This is a classic VN thing, honestly. The repeated onomatopoeia. You see that a lot in visual novels. There's one visual novel, I'm forgetting which one it is now. It's a Japanese one that starts with the sound of a train. Like, I believe the first line of the actual visual novel is like, I think it was translated as ka-chung, ka-chung, ka-chunk, which was just the sound of a train. And it repeats over and over again throughout the opening monologue, which is really long. I don't think it was Clannad. Was it Clannad? Maybe it was Clannad, actually. It's been forever since I played Clannad, so it could have been. I do wonder if I could get accustomed to one of these loud mechanical keyboards some people here love to use. Whenever I did my work in here, I was expected to bring my own crappy laptop and sit closer to the lobby. Always on the outside, no matter how hard I tried to break in. Vibration in my back pocket. Feels like a bad omen. I decided to ignore it for now. I've been working on this fucking story for, I don't know, 16 months on and off. I know. You kept cheering me on. I know. We have even agreed on the pay I'd receive. I know. I'm 2 months behind on my rent. No, wait, 2.5. I catch him off guard. He's momentarily taken aback and then gives me an empathetic stare. Don't you look at me this way. You don't have the right. I didn't know. Well, now you do. Look, if there's anything I can do to help, if you can tell your big kahunas to fuck off. If you can't tell your big kahunas to fuck off, I don't think there's a single thing. Julia. Pull out a smoke and light it up. Gotta get back in control. Please don't do that, there's a smoke detector here. No worries. Nick turned it off a few weeks ago. Probably the most creative thing he's done in the past 5 years. Good old Nick. The perfect 21st century cinema reviewer. Never has an original thought of his own, just relies on his purely algorithmic taste to stay likable. And the best thing is, it works. Funny, I used to dream about this job. It was Brian who killed this dream, making me realize Nick won't be unseated anytime soon, and offered to teach me the ways of investigative journalists instead. Wasn't a career I ever wanted to pursue, but to my dismay, I turned out to be surprisingly good at it, until this Montgomery thing happened. Serves me right, lesson learned. Should have pursued my dreams instead. Stop it, Nicholas is a good friend, a respected critic, a member of my team, and put out that smoke. People tell me I let you step all over me. Why do I even let you act this way? Because you once told me honesty is the most important mentor-student relationship, that it works both ways, and because I thought we were friends. He bites his lip and stares sideways to avoid my eyes. At the end of the day, bosses aren't friends. Must have been a terrible mentor if I didn't even teach you that. Yeah, could have been a bit better. There's too much shared history between us, so I'm reluctant to make this parting of ways too bitter. Might have failed as a guide, but I will do what I can not to leave you stranded, okay? There are options. None of them are a remedy for all your troubles, but wait a second. Another vibration in my pocket, another foreboding feeling. This time I reluctantly take the smartphone out of my pocket. It has to rain, why not let it pour? A new email. It's a lengthy one. The sender? Speak of the devil. No, this can't be. Christ. I just got an email from Mila Lopez. She claims she's just been laid off from Double Spiral, same as Mike Antonoff and Jared Rivera. But it's what happened. I'll spare you all her insults, okay? The key thing is, it seems that their HR knows all the confidential information about my journalistic investigation and used it to shut everyone's mouth. Hell, apparently Montgomery walked up to Lopez as she was emptying her desk and told her to thank me for being a, quote, dumb and careless cunt. Brian goes pale. I think he has very good reason to. You fucking scumbag. You outed my sources. Of course not. What are you even saying? Why don't you dare play coy? It must have been either you or me, no one else. You know the way I work. My investigation was basically untraceable, both on and offline. Carefully picked meeting spots, encryption upon encryption, every direct quote rewritten 5 times just in case. All sorts of red herrings scattered around. I know my shit, you know I do. This timing? Did you just pass a flash drive to your beloved Big Kahunas during the meeting as a sign of goodwill? Look, I get you're upset. Why don't we just talk about this? Why don't we just talk this through calmly? Fury takes the wheel. Double space there. I'm just here along for the ride. Can't do anything about it. In a deranged way, realizing you're just a passenger in your own body feels liberating as you see it all unfold. Calmly? Fuck you, Brian. Julia, I've been paranoid for months and months, acting like everyone I didn't know was an assassin or a corporate spy. I know I haven't messed up, not in a way that would implicate all of them. You got them. You thought you could get away with this. I haven't done anything improper, don't push the blame on me. So what, you're claiming it's my fault? Because you're never the guilty one? It's always the bosses, the economy, the obligations you have, and now me? Being silly, quit with smarter bullshit, calm down or I'll have to. You immoral shithead. You motherfucking calm down, for God's sake. So it goes. I yell out a lot of words I wanted to say for a long time, but held back. Fling a lot of insults I've been workshopping for years, hoping I'd never use them. I break a few things. At times, for a split second, I see pity in somebody's eyes. It's gonna haunt me for a long time. In the heat of the moment, I don't care. These people, no, this company has nothing left to offer me, but at least I can take this catharsis. In the end, the security guard has to escort me out of the building, and that's the end of my journalistic career. I just feel like my world has crumbled into nothing. I mean, you have a right to. Like Jesus, if I were you, I would have already broken down into a sobbing mess. I'd love to, but I'm on a subway, far too proud to cry in public, even now. And it's stupid. But I feel like someone out there keeps destroying everything I hold dear just to see my reaction. Like it was a prank show or someone was waiting to record me crying. So out of sheer spite, I'm doing my best not to cry. Fuck you, whoever and wherever you are. That's the most Julia Sawinski thing I've heard. Spite as the greatest motivator, huh? Not feeling particularly motivated to do anything right now, to be honest. I just want to stay in my bed until my shithead landlord calls the cops to forcefully evict me. Not surprised. Shit, I know whenever life decides to fuck you over, it's always one thing after another. This is too much. Much is too much. Let's recap this last week of June 2019. Been kicked out of my job. Well, not that I've ever been hired. Let's just say my mentor broke every vague promise he ever made to me. A big thing I've been working on for a year and a half went down the toilet. It's all useless. My boss didn't protect my sources properly. Now they keep trying to reach me through a possible channel to threaten me or just yell at me. And they have every right to react like that. All my side gigs were shut down. Nobody's replying to my emails. Somebody's been dragging my name through the mud behind the scenes, and it worked. I have no idea who's sending these shitty messages around. I've been asking, but listen, don't worry about it. I'm not going to stand idly by and watch you get cancelled by some mean-spirited delusional. I said, don't worry about it. I have 3 unread messages from my landlord. The message previews were stressful enough. Call from Chicago. Apparently dad has bladder cancer. Mom is in hysterics. She'd go crazy if she heard about my situation, so I have to pretend everything is okay whenever she calls. And she calls every day, but she just won't hang up. Before she offloads all her burdens on me. I can't blame her. So we all had to learn to cope with dad's psychopathic tendencies somehow. I was robbed. All my documents and what little money I had gone. Don't even know when or where it happened. It's driving me crazy because I'm always extremely wary of pickpockets. The list goes on. I don't want to sound paranoid, but it really feels like a concerted attack. Paranoid is good. Anyway, I know you always handle this topic away, but just remember that if anything happens, my place is your place. You don't have to get through it alone. I do. I've been a trouble magnet, and as self-centered as I may be, I don't want it to affect you. I know. Listen, I have another call. Alright, just call me if anything happens, no matter how dumb it seems, okay? And swing by whenever you can. I will. Thank you. See ya. I put my phone away, exhale, and blankly stare in front of me. Christ. I glance at my reflection in the window. Just look at this idiot. Whenever the situation requires me to dress formally, I feel a bit like I'm still a child cosplaying as an adult. Should you just follow the dress for the job you want advice and continue dressing up like a trust fund kid who keeps partying on Brooklyn rooftops for years without a care in the world. It's only after a while that I realize the car is empty, and naturally so. I start feeling uneasy, but someone enters my peripheral vision. Hello. And that's the last thing I consciously register. The world dissolves. I come to. I'm out of the subway, standing in a back alley. I don't recognize. So a comment already actually about the game. Uh, you know, this is just like something that we're thinking as someone who writes visual novels and reads visual novels. Um, they're not great at pauses so far. Like, there should have been a pause there. Like, when Julia blacked out, and before she comes to, you want a few seconds there to show that time passes. We felt similarly to the scene transitions, but those were not as bad because they were still part of the ongoing narration. At least the second and third scene, but here it was really odd. Like when you black out, you really expect the game to black out with the main character, you know? Yeah, it's very, very run-on-y. Like part of the writing is good so far, liking it a lot, but that pacing is a bit odd. Now, I'm not sure what this has been written in. Like I don't know what it's been coded in, but I can't imagine it would be difficult to just have a slow fade and then holding a black for a few seconds or something. It's pretty dark. My eyes start adjusting. Try to figure out what happened. There's a gun in my hand. Faint silhouette at my feet. It's not moving. Somebody stands in front of me, covered in shadows. I can't fully make out her face, but she's staring at me with visible intent. She speaks. Her voice is raspy and androgynous, tone hateful and mocking. Aren't you a nasty one? What's going on? Who are you? Don't play coy. My mind goes blank. Look at the ground. There's a body riddled with bullet holes. I recognize who it was. The corpse belongs to Mike Antonoff, one of the double spiral whistleblowers. My source was just threatening to get back at me a few hours ago. Before I can feel even the tiniest bit of compassion, I face a terrible realization. They will think I'm guilty. My God. Am I guilty? Capitalization on God. I guess that's the formal way of writing it. Yeah. We wouldn't have done that. Oh yeah, if you see our model do this, that's basically, we tend to lean back when we're like pondering something, when we're thinking about something, and the tracking system doesn't really like that, and it just sort of wobbles wobbles us around. Made in Unity? Yeah, I would track. I mean, most things these days are made in Unity or Unreal. And there's not much reason to use Unreal for a visual novel. How is this real? You have done something to me, haven't you? Back in the subway. That was you, wasn't it? Yeah, Ren'Py is very popular for visual novels, yeah. A man is bleeding out at your feet and you're turning this around on me somehow. I haven't done anything to him. Again, don't play coy. You knew him. He was mad at you. You started telling him sob stories about your situation. He wasn't having none of it. You got mad. Things escalated. He died. This isn't true. It's plausible. That doesn't make it true. Does it? This is just a nightmare. It doesn't even make sense. It must be a dream. And if it isn't, the person in front of me must be responsible. There's a faint voice in my head, screaming that it's her world, that I'm just living in it. What the fuck have you done to me? Nothing yet. But I'll do what I can to get you locked up for life. This is a murder in first degree with special circumstances. Her detached voice and nonsensical tone only reassures me this can't be real. I refuse to believe it is. Before I even manage to think this through, I point the gun at her. If I didn't murder him, you wouldn't be acting like that. You wouldn't be standing in front of me. You'd be running away, calling the police, begging for help, yelling that I'm a psycho. Oh, you are a psycho, but I'm not a coward. I won't let you walk out of here alive. This doesn't make a single lick of sense. Tears well up in my eyes. Why are you doing this? Because sometimes one has to confront what they're really made of. There's no two ways about it. She's gotta be nuts. Slowly but surely, she starts walking toward me. Stop right there, or I'll shoot. Come on. It's the only way I can get off the hook, isn't it? The only way you can survive. But you will definitely prove you are the monster I claim you are. The fuck is this tone? So controlling, inauthentic, patronizing. I'm serious. For your own sake, you better be. She keeps getting closer. Maybe I did kill Antonov. Maybe I don't deserve to live. Maybe it's less tiring not to live. Maybe I should just let her take care of me. Maybe I will just wake up. Maybe this insane reality needs to be rejected as violently as possible. Maybe a world that wants to destroy me deserves to be destroyed. She's right in front of me. It's now or never. Okay, chat, do we shoot her or do we not shoot her? The mysterious woman who is most certainly not a vampire, who have most certainly not used dominance. Well, we humans, dominance 1 would probably be enough, wouldn't it? Thinking in Vampire the Masquerade. Ability. Is it abilities? No, it's trait. No, it's not trait. They have their own name. Oh, well, whatever, it doesn't matter. Don't shoot. Okay. I won't shoot. Just help me. Please help me. I will. She yanks the gun out of my hand with ease. Her strength is horrifying, actually. Turns it against me. That's what you think the character would do. Well, sure. But it's more fun to have the chat pick the options every so often. And she pulls the trigger. Nice. The gaping hole where my heart used to be, I fall down onto Antonov's body. If there's any consolation to you, if that's the way you are, there's no chance you were ever going to amount to anything. I've just hastened the inevitable. You're a lowlife. Not even worth drinking. I'm just angry at myself for wasting so much time and resources to give you a second chance. Sierra wanted me back in Chicago as soon as possible. I should have to wait a bit longer. Oh well. I have no idea what she's talking about. But I'm in no condition to care anymore. Oh, did we actually get the bad ending? Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Oh, I haven't seen an early kind of ending like that in a while. Ah, that's no, no, not good ending. Definitely not good ending. Being a vampire is awesome. So, we have a bit of experience with World of Darkness. I think we've talked about this before, but we used to play a lot of Vampire the Masquerade. We're actually part of a big like LARPing community back in the 2000s. We can't even load the game. Okay, well let's just do the classic good old oh, hold on. Traits. Or maybe it's called traits then. How do I skip? Surely there's a skip button. Control, okay. Oh, oh, oops. I think I'm gonna try and like pick the same ones that we get to the same point. Okay, here we go. Very fast skip mechanic, that's nice. Some visual novels have slow skip mechanics. And that's never good. Like, please. VNs. Don't make skipping a pain. And also, unless you have some kind of like meta breaking system going around, don't prevent saving. Like, it's so frustrating. Close my eyes and squeeze the trigger. A loud bang echoes through the alley. I'm afraid to look at what I've done. I've been to a shooting range once. I felt absolutely horrified by pistols. Such a small thing. They can easily puncture a hole in the fabric reality is made of. Never knew I'd be able to use it against another human being. The very thought makes me want to puke. You were a right choice after all. I'm so glad. Actually, that reminds me. There's only save and exit. So if you get an ending, that's it. Just you can't do backup saves unless it was a different button. No. Huh. That's interesting. It has 3 save slots, but they're like just like set saves. That's really odd. You haven't allowed yourself to break, but you've crossed the line I needed you to cross. Just a silent flame in you. It could become an inferno if left unchecked. Sure hope it will. She's still alive. Her voice is coming from behind me. She puts her hand around my waist, and her cold mouth touches my neck. I can feel my shirt getting violently torn off. I don't understand, but I'm too dazed to protest. That was your final test. Congratulations. You have proven yourself worthy. Oh yeah, because Coteries has the three clan routes. I can feel something sharp sliding into my neck. It's not too painful. It's startling. Think a doctor pushing a needle into your vein without a proper warning. Then, it's me. Pure bliss. Dopamine receptors I've considered completely fried until now suddenly recover and start bombarding me with pleasure I've never known before. Finally let the tears go. They come flooding. They've been waiting for years. Such a relief. Is it raining? I feel like I'm in the middle of a deluge, at least. Washing away all my fears, all of my sorrows, all of my anger, all of my pain, all of my ego. I become one with the world and the woman behind me. She's holding me tight, making me feel like the only important thing in the world. Everything else blurs. I feel something intense toward her, something I've never felt before. Is this love? I hope it is. This is not you. This is a familiar cynical voice in the back of my head. But it's okay. I never felt particularly fond of me anyway. New York, you're perfect. Oh, please don't change a thing. He who laughs in the shadows always has the last laugh. Hallelujah, praise be. When everything is cliché, nothing is. Isn't that the ever-distant utopia I've been chasing all along? People on the other trains, I hope you're doing fine. God, shut up. Just enjoy it. You'll finally understand. She's making love to me. She's giving birth to me. She's burying me. Yay! Once again, should have been a pause there. Should have been a pause and a fade, a little wait. That was a great moment to have a wait. But, you know, still, that was hot. That was good. I mean, yeah. You like it. I'm pretty sure I've been dead for a while. Pretty sure I could stare at my own corpse in her hands from a distance for a moment somehow. And then I'm alive again. She lifts her mouth from my neck. Oh wait, I taste blood in my mouth. Was I drinking her blood too? I realize that whatever this was, it's over. I have to bask in the afterglow while I still can. Good use of afterglow there. I also immediately understand that I'm going to chase this fleeting feeling for the rest of my existence. You get used to it. Finally, She lets out a whisper that concludes the ceremony. No matter what happens next, don't forget, you're a monster. You were lucky enough to be born into a world of monsters, so don't you ever mourn that fact. Embrace it. Oh, now we get a actual fade. I mean, even that one was short. Who doesn't know La Sombra embrace tactic? Yeah. Honestly, trying to think of like past VTM characters of ours. The one that probably had the sexiest embrace would have been oh, what was the name of that one? Alex. Yeah, it was Alex Shepard. Giovanni, actually. Trying to think if there was any other wrong ones. Oh well, doesn't matter. Once again, I find myself in Big Beat Burger. Familiar surroundings, faces I recognize, mood, same as it ever was. Still, I process it in an entirely different way. It all frustrates me now. Or more precisely, it makes me frustrated with myself. It's like I'm clinging to the remnants of a cocoon I've outgrown. I love the like post-embrace transformation, aka dress a little sluttier. Doesn't look much paler though. It's the same with these cigarettes. I don't need them anymore. So why do I keep holding on to them? Fucking hell, it's like I refuse to accept I'm something better than I used to be. A vampire. I was wondering when they were actually gonna say it. Like they were, you know, it was skirting around it. But there they are. I mean, if we're gonna be honest, I feel like the moment you notice that, you know, someone's drinking your blood and you're drinking their blood, wouldn't your first thought be, oh shit, vampire? Like, even if you didn't believe in vampires, surely that would just come naturally at that point? Maybe that's just us. Just 2 nights ago, I met Karen. She embraced me, by which I mean turned me into a kindred. She calls herself my sire, and me her child. Ah, so now we have a use for the dictionary. The deeds are a bit more gruesome than whatever romanticized images Hollywood has shed on everyone's first years. No! 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 Big disagreement. I mean, admittedly, okay, Hollywood, fair enough, but like that was plenty romantic. And a good embrace is always romantic. And there's nothing. How is it not romantic to have your bodily fluids replaced by someone else's? Body fluid exchange is like the essence of so many sexual acts. Like, come on. Yep, kindred. Fucking Camarilla. We have things to say about the Camarilla, but we're sure the game will also say it. Well, if you're into blood play, I feel like vampire comes even more naturally, right? Yep. Okay, we didn't actually know that the plural form is Shilder? Many Shilder. That is ridiculous. That is silly. We actually when we were doing VTM, or rather when we do World of Darkness in general, we struggled a lot with like whether or not to translate terminology. And yeah, we've never heard a plural of child before. I never heard that before, but we actually struggled a lot with like what to translate and what not to translate, because obviously these terminologies are designed for English use. And see, we kept sire. Some insisted on still using embrace, which is really awkward when talking in Swedish, because like, you know, it's just a word. You could just translate it. Trying to think. We did translate prince, as in the title of prince in the Camarilla. We translated that to Fusten, which we never liked. Can you imagine why we didn't like that? And let's see, we translated. I can't remember any other stuff. Actually, I think we translated child as just barn, as in like the Swedish word for a child. But there were some like, you know, diehards that insisted on using the English terminology, even though we were all playing entirely in Swedish. Yeah. Anyway, this dictionary is cool. We like it. Dictionaries in general, something more visual novels should have. That is something we consider standard. Last night she taught me the basics of survival. Oh, okay, good. She's a good sire then. It seemed like she was just gonna dump you there. Drinking blood, manipulating humans, bending steel, controlling shadows. Tonight, I expected more lessons. Instead, she just told me to go out and enjoy myself. What's the catch? I asked. To which she responded, I might kill you if you prove to be a disappointment. There are a few rules. I have to uphold the Mas-queer-ade. I can't contact anyone I knew as a human. I can't let anyone realize I'm not human anymore. I can't embrace anyone, and so on. Oh yeah, did you actually have the full... No, just secrecy. Yeah. We have plenty of criticisms of how World of Darkness actually handles the Mas-queer-ade. But overall, it's, you know, it's fine. It's fine. Otherwise, I'm free to do whatever I want. And for some reason, the first thing I did was come back here. Old habits die hard. Karen is probably updating me from somewhere even now. The way I understand it, tomorrow night she's supposed to introduce me to the Camarilla, a local society of vampires. Also, now we get Camarilla, not when we read about it. Big boys and girls in town, the largest vampire sect I know of, plays well with mortals, rather plays mortals like a fiddle, manipulative and rich in structure, almost feudal. Really, there's a prince involved, no joke. Heavily invested in maintaining the masquerade and other so-called traditions, which helps with the 2 previous points. Well, we did mention that our favorite character was Giovanni. Giovanni is not part of the Camarilla. Although they do tend, they're not very well. Okay, I mean, we don't know what the current age of VTM is like actually, but at least when we play, they were not considered like anarchy heavy either. But they're not Camarilla members, and as such have their own rules. I think if we were to make a Vampire the Masquerade character today, the part of us would probably play Toreador, because we do like Toreador a lot, but at the same time we really dislike the Camarilla. Not just like in character, it's fine to dislike the Camarilla, but we also dislike it as like a world building foundation, which is part of why we don't necessarily have much interest in playing VTM anymore. Well, we still might at some point. It could be fun to play with like a group of other VTubers. Although actually, at that point we might want to DM instead. Never played. What was the attempt at the successor to Masquerade? Vampire the Requiem? Was that it? Never played that. Is that still a thing? Or did the new Masquerade just completely eradicate that? Turns out they are the ones that have been systemically ruining my life lately. All a part of some secret evaluation that I barely passed. Just imagining the reach they have makes me dizzy. After they destroyed the old me that I barely cared about, Karen rebuilt me anew. On one hand, her test left some scars that will take time to heal. On the other hand, maybe I should just be grateful. And snapped out of my thoughts by a sudden scream. It's separate from Masquerade. Yeah, but is it still a thing? Because, but we like, sort of when we stopped playing VTM was when a lot of our fellow like vampires moved on to play Requiem instead. But we haven't heard anything about Requiem in like over a decade. So like, did it stick around or did it just fizzle out? Because we know some people prefer that, but and that because it has a pretty different setup for things from what we understood. Yeah, they're completely divorced from the Darkness, Chronicles of Darkness, formerly new. Yeah, but okay, but it does still exist though. It's just completely separate now. That could be fun to look into then. Some douchebag yelling about his French fries not being salty enough. Of all things to yell about, just salt them yourself. I think this is my cue to leave. Permanently. Goodbye, BBB. Hope I never see you again. I'm destined for greater things, you see. Yeah. We were considering joining a Masquerade group here in our new abode, so to say. But now we might be moving back to our previous place, so that might not be happening. And we would never go back to the old LARP group. If it's even still around, we don't actually know. But if it's still around, we would not go back to that LARP group for a variety of reasons that I will not get into on stream. Yeah. Someone should make a new vampire role-playing table. I mean, there's probably several, but someone should make a new one that I like. Ooh, map screen. Or not. What is this? Nothing is highlighted when I do things. These are options, but okay. Danza Macabra, something more level standpoint, the club beckons, the risk of swiping right, this tinned addict smells like a bit of a loser, I want to be intellectual, a perfect source of nourishment. Meathead bully and his unfortunate victim, probably shouldn't interfere, but what better chance could I find to test what I've become? Okay. Yeah, like, you'd want, like, some kind of highlight feature on these. What is this thing? It's just the time of day? I'm guessing that, like... Oh yeah, so, like, this is gonna move throughout the night. So, like, this is early night now, because it's... Yeah, okay, get it. One thing in the Danza Macabra thing, right? Like... I mean, we're gonna go feed, obviously, but... Yeah, let's go with Danza Macabra. Oh, wait. Okay, that's how you pick it. Okay. This club reeks of death, and I love it. You always find yourself in some kind of nightclub in VTM. Actually, that might just be our general World of Darkness thing, actually, now that we think about it. But, like, oh my god, nightclubs. I think, like, every single long-running scenario we ever played somehow led to a nightclub. Which is funny, because at the time, we had never been to a nightclub. Now we have been. I haven't roleplayed a nightclub since then. Well... yeah, actually, no, we can't. Yeah, you're right. You're perfect. You're absolutely correct. I've been here quite a few times, but I've never seen anything this breathtaking. Everyone around me is whacked out of their minds. As they keep dancing, madly, the spirits dance beside them. Spectral silhouettes phase in and out of existence, becoming more visible the more intense the music grows. It looks like a bizarre ritual, a profane mass. Okay, this body swaying does not at all look like dancing. We're just gonna stop it. I notice it's the voice samples the ghosts react to the strongest. That's an odd one. The most suggestive ones cause them to appear distorted, even tormented. Espectro. It's as if something was struggling to be born out of the harsh sounds. The dead were hoping to be reborn alongside it. They're all uneasy, quivering with desire for something far beyond their reach, probably the same as when they were alive. Sometimes, the living dancers spot their dead counterparts. It's usually the most manic ones who notice something out of the corner of their eye, for only a split second, but never realize what they've glimpsed. Some apparitions dance to a completely different tune than the rest of us, one only they can hear. Those seem the saddest. The spectacle is eerie, at times it's unbearably melancholic. Above all, it's beautiful. I keep on moving to the rhythm until I reach a trance-like state, and then something even stranger happens. Every now and then, when I brush against someone, a fragmentary vision appears before my eyes. Car burning on a freeway, an outstretched hand in the depths of the sea, a man jumping out of a skyscraper window. Memories of the past, preventable visions of the future. I have no idea what it means. I'm strangely eager to find out. Oh, hello! And then there are dancers like her. Ones that aren't ghosts, humans, or even vampires, but something else altogether. This new world is full of mysteries, and I plan to get to the bottom of them all. For now, I just want to dance. Oh. Okay. I feel like we might get into trouble here, but it could also be fun. Actually, so how does this save? Like, if I click save and exit, does it just? Yeah, okay. Well, let's go to this thing that two men are facing each other in a dark back alley. One of them stands with his back against the wall, his chest heaving as he's struggling to catch his breath. People? Anybody out there? I'm being robbed! A brawny, rugged guy is yelling at metal staircases with a theatrical incredulity in his voice. At a lively step, he dances around an older man who's having trouble finding his footing. What is this? Bullshit? Oh, so now you can talk. Good, because I'm dying to hear what you did to my wallet, Holmes. Wallet? I have no idea what you're talking about. The goon starts prancing around like a Muay Thai boxer. He's smiling, but his eyes send a clear message. You're cornered, buddy. Don't even try to pull a fast one on me. Come on, homeboy. You may be able to trick an average Joe on the street with your act, but a fighter recognizes a fighter. It's like an animal thing. It's an instinct thing. You got some moves on you. You're like shit. You're like a black mamba. Lightning flash. Wow, I can't talk. Lightning fast reflexes. He starts shadowboxing for a moment. The man's definitely got energy to spare. However, I'm like a king cobra. You met your match. Two apex predators now locked in battle. Oh, so you're seeing snakes. That would explain some of. Before he's able to finish, a sucker punch knocks the air right out of his lungs. The old man slides down the wall. Before he can let out a groan, he's interrupted by a brutal kick to the chest. That's what I'm talking about. A fighting spirit, even when you're cornered. Ugh. Take a seat. Deep breath. Collect your thoughts before you speak up again. Remember where you put my wallet now? I'm pretty sure you broke my rib. An eye for an eye, a rib for a ribbing. Biblical punishment's only fair, homie. Fair? At least admit this is a mugging. Wallet, my ass. Still in denial? Okay, let's say I had about 5,000 bucks in there. Give me 6 grand and I'll let you walk away. Relatively unharmed. So you admit it? Admit what? This is not about proper compensation, this is a robbery. Look, buddy, this is beginning to bore me. Unless you want me to go all Anderson Silva on your ass, give me what I want. Anderson Silva? Yeah, Anderson Silva. Flying near to your solar plexus, the man, the myth, the legend. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Thai boxing, Western boxing, Taekwondo, Wing Chun, and Capoeira. Capoeira? Combined into a single fighting style that can only be described as straight-up murder. I've been studying the glorious singularity that is Anderson Silva for years. Every move I have, I owe to him. If you don't want this snake to turn into a deadly spider, show me the money, honey. Summer 2013, Las Vegas. Huh? Watch it live, on pay-per-view. Weedman saw through all of Silva's tricks, whooped his ass, broke his spirit, showed him for a fraud he is. The man hasn't been the same ever since. All the empty showboating, hallow-taunting, drunk on his own Kool-Aid. Jesus, of course you idolize him, asshole. For a good minute, the ghoul silently looks down at the whimpering man at his feet, chewing on his lower lip. When he finally speaks up, his voice betrays an intent to kill. You know what, homeboy? Screw the money. This is a matter of honor now. My thoughts exactly. Huh. He raises his fist. We got ourselves a mixed martial arts expert here, huh? For your own sake, I hope you can back that talk with some self-defense skills, homie. Boosting your self-esteem by beating up an injured old geezer? God damn, you're pathetic. He jumps at the sound of my voice, turns my way in the blink of an eye, and immediately assumes a combat stance. His reflexes are sharp. Looks like he has at least this much to back up all his bravado. Wannabe Anderson Silva's face betrays utter confusion upon seeing me. He's got no idea how I managed to sneak up on him. I don't blame him. I wouldn't be able to explain it myself. It felt like I became one with the darkness. My pure confusion, my pure consciousness, traversing a dusky dreamscape, jumping from one shadow to another as if they were different trains of thoughts. Just my preview window, or did the quality just drop a lot? No, it was fine. Never mind. I think of some experience I had with psychedelics. Every blink an adventure. I was outside of this alley. Blink. I was above the alley. Blink. Now I'm in front of this guy. And it pisses me off. The older man slumps down. Looks like he was trying his best to keep it together and gave up once the cavalry arrived. The goon regains his composure and barks at me in an overly gruff way. "What the hell are you sneaking around here for, Shiga? Move along, this is between men." Not anymore. His fist turns toward me. "I'm serious, and an equal opportunity ass kicker." I respond to the threat with the brightest, most innocent, virginal smile I can put on. "So you're into shadow boxing, huh?" Something comes over me. I can feel the darkness embracing me, whispering sweet nothings in my ear, pumping me up for what's to come. Elbow. Might as well give this a try. Before he manages to respond, my elbow crashes against his face. A few bloody teeth land on the ground. I know what he's thinking. I should have blocked it, and he absolutely should have. But instead, he just flailed his arms helplessly as if suddenly found himself in front of an oncoming train. A primal expression of fear that suddenly and completely took him over. I don't know how I look right now, but judging by his expression, my best guess is like the gaping maw of some primordial beast. I follow up the surprise attack with another punch to the solar plexus, or at least my nearest estimate. Once again, the effect terrifies even myself. Looks like my hunch was correct, and I hit the right spot. He falls to the floor, whining like a wounded animal, tears streaming down his face. I let him collect himself a bit, and then grab him by his chin. "Learn to choose your battles, homeboy." "Let me go! For Christ's sake, just let me go!" Kick him in the direction of the alley entrance. He staggers off, quickly disappearing from my sight. I check on his victim. Looks like he's conscious. "Oh, who whooped his ass, girl?" He hasn't noticed anything out of order. Good. I was getting worried I might have overdone it a bit. That woman did say that keeping a low profile will be crucial if I want to survive. "You alright? Need help?" He managed to stand up. His smile is strained, but it suggests that he's fine, or at least trying his best to seem fine. "No, you gave me all the help I needed, and then some. Thank you, miss. What's your name?" "Jessica." "Thanks, Jessica. I was worried for a second. This asshole's bark was worse than his bite. Probably in worse shape than me now. I guess it counts as a victory. I better be going. Wife is probably worried sick, but before that, if there's anything I could do to repay you..." I want to celebrate tonight. Where would you go if you were me? Celebrate, huh? First thing that comes to your mind. I want to feel alive. Times Square? Times Square? Jeez, get the fuck out of here with that tourist bullshit. I came here a few weeks ago myself, still haven't managed to see it. I always wanted to. In the movies, it always seems so full of life, so... That's a full life for this time of night. Not that interesting in general. Though, I think you just helped me come up with an idea. Glad to hear that. Take care, will ya? You too. Avoid shady spots. Next time, I probably won't be able to bail you out. And there he goes. Avoid shady spots, huh? I no longer had to abide by my own advice. No more worrying about being out at midnight, no more feeling uneasy whenever I spot a shady asshole across the street. Ever. Hell, I could start jogging in Central Park after midnight now. Not that I need to. The future is looking bright. Ah, what a night. Oh, this is beautiful. This is really nice. There's no like hide UI button, is there? No. Really nice artwork though. I mean, the art direction is gorgeous. Middle click maybe. Up. The art style is really pretty. It's just honestly one of the best looking original English language visual novels that we've seen. Although we have to admit this next message thing is pretty ugly. And these icons could be a bit smaller, but yeah, it's fine. I bet these icons are made for phone, actually. I watch Times Square from above. It's beautiful. Never thought this place could make me emotional, to be honest, but here I am, feeling deeply moved. Who would have thought? That one guy I saved from a beatdown would probably get bored of this place 5 minutes after an obligatory selfie. Although I guess one's enjoyment of these sights depend a great deal on perspective. In any case, I'm glad he gave me the idea. Getting up here was surprisingly easy, all things considered. Took more thought than physical effort. Early tonight, I started experimenting with this body's limits. I realized I can jump over small buildings and climb steep walls with ease now, and my whole perception of space has shifted. I planned a scenic route across the rooftops. I did my best to avoid attracting attention, just as I was told, stayed in the shadows as much as humanly possible. I spot a drone from afar. For a second I feel uneasy. I remember what she told me. Machines won't get a clear view of me anymore. Camera footage, photos, it's all glitched out or blurry. Oh! That's a good, that's a, is that a merit or a trait? It's obfuscation, right? I think that's a trait. Wouldn't take it for granted if I didn't try. Wouldn't take it for granted if I didn't try to catch my reflection earlier on. Couldn't see my face clearly, not in the mirror, and even in a puddle. My face was like one of the Dali's clocks. Oh wait, one of Dali's clocks. Oh, just like. I guess it's not obfuscation then. If it's just the general. Can't see. We just. We recalled that you needed obfuscation as a separate thing to not be seen on camera. Maybe we're wrong. It's been forever, so. She told me to keep a low profile regardless. Someone might take note and track you down. She didn't care to elaborate, but it didn't sound encouraging. Suddenly, it hit me that I might never be able to see my own face again. Won't even be able to take care of my looks by myself. What about the long-term psychological effects? A knot of anxiety tightens in my stomach. Jesus. This is probably just the tip of the iceberg. What else is going to change? Older editions need obfuscation for it. Okay, well that explains it then. Because yeah, I think there's been 2 editions since we last played. Personally, we abide by the silver rule. That it's actually silver that makes us lose our reflection. And as such, cameras are not an issue. And yes, that does mean technically that modern mirrors would also show vampires, but you know, artistic liberty. Calm down. Wait a second. These past few nights have been the best of my life. For years, I was on a downward spiral, failing health, no future, feeling of overwhelming powerlessness. Now everything has been flipped upside down. Total paradigm shift. Bad ending is no longer the only option. Yeah, we already got the bad ending. I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow. I forgot how that feels. Where it used to stand at mere seconds to midnight, the doomsday clock has been effectively turned off. Cold breeze brushes my cheek. Stupid as it sounds, it shows to read it as the world telling me to chin up. I can bend anyone to my will. I'm capable of superhuman strength. I am a master of shadows. I can do anything. Yeah, hubris is not the best thing to have there, Julia, but, you know, yeah, we get it. Tomorrow night, I will get introduced to my duties. Everything goes according to plan. I'll become a New York City representative of Clan La Sombra. Clan. A vampire's family tree, specifically those sharing common blood. Imagine everyone who is your blood relative. Everyone you can picture gathered around a table at Christmas, all sharing the same strengths and afflictions. Might be hard to visualize when you come from a big family, but you're still probably only picturing a few dozen people maximum. There are hundreds of vampires in any given clan, maybe more. The word La Sombra, maybe there's something that has changed, but La Sombra is independent, right? They're not like inherently part of Camarilla. Like apparently we are here in New York. But we seem to recall La Sombra being independent. Maybe I'm mixing it. No, we're pretty sure La Sombra was independent. Yeah. We really should read up on like modern World of Darkness stuff at some point. Whoever they are, whatever that means, I have no idea what to expect. Tonight is tonight. I'm free. All my worries from a month ago feel like they belong to someone else. Finally, things are looking up. Oh, we get a title card! Oh no! The pandemic has started. I really need to get, by the way, I really need to get a better application for tracking my body. The swaying is so ridiculous. What time is it? Okay, we've been playing for 90 minutes. Okay. March 2020. Back at it again at Big Beat Burger. I thought we were never gonna come back here. Familiar sounds, familiar smells, familiar faces. Yet again, I'm recalling that night when everything finally seemed to change for the better. I mean, it's not like I was expecting everything to go back to the old depressing normal. Like I wasn't expecting everything to go back to the old depressing normal. Even in the thick of it, the rational part of me recognized my state as temporary. You know, we may consider the Camarilla rules a bit bullshit, but you really shouldn't be going back to the burger joint you spent all your days at when you were alive. That's like the last place you'd want to be after you have, you know, likely been reported as missing. Maybe that'll be a plot point, we'll see. With these highs, there's always a hope it won't end, or maybe that an ego death will finally occur. Be satisfied, you stupid fucking bitch, I command you. Here's all the logical evidence for why you should be satisfied. Here's the obvious direction for your life, and here's a detailed explanation of how you should treat the people that care for you. No dice. I always fall back into the same old habits. It's like they were encoded deep into my DNA. The aimlessness, the powerlessness, the spiritual exhaustion. These goddamn fast food trips. The stupid fucking self-loathing now amplified whenever I drink somebody's blood. I was just blaming it all on the misfortune of my birth. You do this social climbing until you dissociate, and then you're just this untethered, constantly frustrated ball of dumb desires. Except I'm sort of immortal right now, and I need to figure out what to do next. I watched this obscure Asian movie once, Eli Eli Lema Sabachthani. starring Tadanobu Asano, one of the coolest guys in the world. He plays this Merzbow-like figure, a legendary noise musician. There's this mysterious virus spreading around the world, causing despair and mass suicide. A rich CEO's granddaughter gets sick and longs to die, so he spends a fortune searching for the cure. Turns out Asano and his friend, played by this violent onsen geisha guy, are traveling through Japan, searching the corpse-strewn towns and fields for any unique item that could produce beautiful sounds. Turns out, the avant-garde walls of noise they create are able to heal the infected. The CEO begs the band for help, offering them all the money they want, and for some reason they refuse. Through a series of flashbacks, concerts, and vignettes, a mystery unfolds. Eventually, we realize that Asano's music is not just a remedy, it's also a cause of the virus. Whenever they connect with people, they get this hunger for more extreme, more novel experiences. And eventually, they hit a wall. Nothing can satisfy them anymore. They lose their will to live, not even the musicians are spared from this curse. They know the end will come sooner or later. The girl is saved by a mind-blowing concert, but the tragedy is merely postponed, not averted. The last shot of a Jesus-like Asano silently considering his role as savior and destroyer stayed with me. The form of the film is abrasive, little to no narrative coherence, some weird cartoonish creative choices, and the Japanese noise soundtrack, the very freeform and hard to understand weave of themes. But at this point, movies like this are all that truly connect with me. I'm the New York City representative of the La Sombra clan now, also known as the Night Clan. They are masters of shadows, who cast distorted reflections and make modern tech go haywire in their presence. You seriously became a representative already? Like she mentioned that earlier as well, but I mean, that's gotta be some boy, right? You wouldn't. There's Abyss Mystics of Turncoat, able to drive home the fatal Assemble switch sects in recent years. There we go. That explains my confusion. We can't tell the story. We used to be the brains behind the Sabbath, indeed. A pretty nasty group working in opposition to Camarilla. They've since left for the Middle East for the most part, but a sizable chunk of my clan opted out and changed sides. Okay, originally we were entrenched in the Catholic Church back in Europe, but not for mystical reasons, but of coercion and puppetry. The pulling the strings of important religious leaders was just a means to an end. The Night Clan is also borderline Darwinian in their philosophy about embracing new members. Yep, the shittiest period of my life was fully orchestrated by Karen in order to see that I was good La Sombra material. They do not care for losers who just take it lying down. Then there's the dark. I'm still coming to grips with it, but apparently shadows aren't just absences of light to us. They're openings into some kind of hell, and we can wield them or even use them to contact it. Yep, the downside we share a classic vampire feature in that we don't really have clear reflections. Okay, so that's alright. Okay, so it's a La Sombra thing. It's a La Sombra thing that they don't need obfuscation for the cameras and that stuff. Okay. Well, that makes sense. We're being taught by all the things that we don't know anymore. Also, yeah, I guess we did say that La Sombra was independent, but no, Sabbath. We thought not Camarilla and just went for independent, which is not accurate. That was wrong of us. Oh my god, even more dictionary. Last year, a few months after I was embraced, the La Sombra had joined with the Camarilla, the biggest and most original sect in the vampire world. Okay. They really should just give you many words at once instead, so you can just do one quick read. Tabla lineage, by ideology. Two most notable examples are the Anarchs and the Camarilla, and specifically these two are also in direct opposition, drifting further apart all the time. No mention here that there's also independent ones, but oh well. Two groups actually used to fight each other, but our leaders found some intel that made them reconsider their strategy, so they sent a diplomatic mission to parley with their historical enemies. The deal they got in Chicago was simple, an unlife for an unlife. For every La Sombra vampire allowed in the Ivory Tower, one La Sombra vampire has to meet their ultimate end. Still remember, oh my god, is every fucking click gonna give me a dictionary thing now? I'm just gonna wait until we read through the response. Still remember the name of the woman who met her final death so I could begin my own life. Her name was Hester Reed, a sworn enemy of the Camarilla, a guerrilla fighter who spent decades opposing them. She was someone with far better principles than mine, from what I gathered. Well, whoever she was, her execution by my sire served to convince the NYC elites to give us La Sombra a chance. Then they set out to look for a mutually agreed upon candidate who would become the clan's rep in the city. My sire searched for someone who gave the impression she was more than she appeared. The local cult was looking for someone they could walk all over. After long negotiations, they decided I was a good compromise. Fair enough. That explains why she's the representative already. What? We didn't use representative in ours. We used oh, what word did we use? We had a fancier word. No, can't remember. They proceeded to systematically destroy my entire life, just to make me show I was psychologically strong enough to join their ranks. The turncoat special, they call it. Somehow I succeeded. Yeah, the Primogen is the leader of the entire clan, right? But the representative is the one that like attends like local matters. Or is that wrong? It eventually led me right back to where I started. I stopped writing and put my pen down. That be all? Yes, Mr. Wall. I hope you enjoy your stay in London. Oh, I very much doubt I will. Just like every cultured person, I think the only good Englishman is a dead Englishman. Not interested in small talk with someone as sociopathic as her. I finished the formalities in silence. That will be all. Yeah, the Premier is clan representative to the yeah. The representative is like a stage below that, then? Tell Kadir I said hello, and farewell. Safe travels. Let the door hit you on the way out, psycho. Oh well. I'm the lone La Sombra in this town. My representational role means jack shit. No title, no perks, no whatever. Right now, I'm the court's gopher, doing all sorts of work nobody else will touch. My main duties? Being a sort of immigration officer. See, New York City is probably the biggest vampire travel hub in the USA, and definitely the biggest one on the East Coast. Almost every kindred arriving from Africa and Europe comes through here. A local Camarilla is nuts about bureaucracy and population control, so every vampire leaving or arriving in this town is supposed to check in with me to inform me about their travels. So here's a nitpick, because I haven't had enough of those yet. Really wish they had really wish they capitalized vampire. They capitalized so many other things, and personally, we capitalized vampire, so... Well, in theory at least. The VIPs play by different rules. They take care of this stuff through connections and servants. For the smaller fish, I'm like a vampire Statue of Liberty. The first bloodsucker every kindred come to NYC should see. On paper, anyway. The first after the Prince, or Kadir, the Primogen Council, these things vary. I'm a naturally treacherous La Sombra, so I still prefer being traditional and hands-on about these things. Okay, let's read our dictionary now. Final death. Death of mortals is defined as the total cessation of all biological activities, but vampires, being undead, face two moments of dying. The first, when their mortal life ends, and the second, a final one. when they truly cease to exist, usually involves rapid decomposition of the body up to and including turning to dust if you're old enough, as if time has finally caught up with you. The kindred hierarchy of rule, basic feudalism by another name, you have a prince at the top, primogen beneath him or her, a sheriff who answers to the prince, and so on. Matters are handled at secret sanctuaries called Elysiums. Note this structure applies at a city level, beyond that the Camille's organization gets absurdly Byzantine. Yeah. We have been primogen and sheriff. We have never actually played prince in any VTM community thing. Where the buck stops, the big boss of a given domain, usually a city. There are kindred you don't want to cross, those who have secured and held their claim against all other contenders. Prince is a gender-neutral title for vampires, hence NYC's head honcho, Helen Panhard, also calls herself that. The prince's advisors, usually elders, though mostly the younger so-called Anzilla in NYC, who represent the interest of the local kindred. Traditionally, each major clan faction or sect would be given a place on the council. This framework initially favors the Camarilla, though anyone can bring grievances to a primogen, not of their own clan. There are few other rules governing who can become a primogen, but recent decades have seen the old paradigms rapidly shifting. Locally, Prince Panhard asks the council's advice often. There's no secret that she mostly uses the primogen to confirm a course of action she's already made her mind up about. Wait, so clan faction or sect would be given a place. Okay, yeah. As I said, at the end of the day, I'm just a gopher, and this work only serves to remind me I'm not quite in, just standing at the gate. They haven't even given me an office. I just meet everyone in public places, such as coffee shops or just fast food restaurants. Some consider this an insult and lash out at me, but luckily most of them understand we're in the same boat. Only here because we're curs who needs to be reminded of our place from time to time. Speaking of, my last client is 15 minutes late. I still have more errands to run tonight. It's getting irritating. To be honest, I should just find some self-respect and leave. But I won't. My sorry upbringing left me with this stupid sense of responsibility. 10 more minutes pass. Eventually, unfamiliar woman appears by the door. She tells someone to stand by the door and walks in. Ooh. Pretty eyes. Long chestnut hair. Body stuck in her late teens, by the look of it. A fashionable scarf covering most of her face. Elegant clothes. Dignified walk. I signal her to sit in front of me, trying my best not to let my impatience show. She obliges. You're here to check in? I am. Julia Sawinski, I presume? She's scanning her surroundings like we're at the circus. Hope you won't mind if I make it quick. I'm needed in Elysium. Name? Catherine Weiss. Weiss? Catherine Weiss. Huh. Swear I've heard that name before. Someone else's description of her crosses my mind. That weird lady who owns the art hall, but it's never there. Weird? So it is her. Catherine Weiss, owner of the art hall, de facto headquarters of the New York City Camarilla. The E is cut off here. For fuck's sake, Julia, what are you doing calling her weird right off the bat? God knows you already made a fool of yourself in front of enough VIPs in the city. Recover. I'm sorry. It's just that I still don't know many people there, so I have to go by the descriptions I'm given by members of the Primogen. Well, the description is mostly correct, outside of that one word that slightly perplexes me. Pot calling the kettle black, sounds like. Oh, from what I gathered, it's just that your interests are rumored to be, not fully aligned with the Camarillas, and it irks some folks up there. Being a keeper of the Elysium is not enough for some, I see. I suspected as much. What can you do? She seems chill. Good. Anyway, Catherine Weiss. Wow. Yes, want me to spell it? People often have trouble getting it right. Forgive my indiscretion, it's just the people of your stature usually don't bother checking in with me. They usually report their arrival to one of the Primogen, and they make all the arrangements. I heard Prince Panhard is busy with preparations for her big party. I assumed that if I spared her some paperwork, she'd appreciate the gesture of goodwill. Besides, I wanted to meet her infamous Lasombra representative out of sheer curiosity. My interest peaked once I heard about her. She looks around knowingly. Unique circumstances. Yes, Prince Helene Panhard had trouble justifying the exorbitant rent my property would need. That's literally pennies for her. As far as I know, she's been sitting on an empty property since last year. Usually got it out for you. Bad. That's what I assume, but it's nice to get confirmation. Well, it's not like my clan has been particularly popular in these parts. At least that's what I've heard, since the fathers and so on. Yes, just to make sure, you've never met Hester, but you know of her? I do know I wouldn't be here if not for her. Have you two met? No, I only heard of her once or twice. We had similar outlooks on many issues, although we tended to come up with completely different solutions. I really should do more to distinguish these two voices. I didn't think they would be talking this long. In any case, I think it's meaningful that Hester died so that you could live. They feared her, now they fear you, and that's why they're keeping you down. If anyone is not a VIP such to me, I'd laugh in the face. Oh, I get what she's doing. She's trying to buy my favors. That's not to act like I'm easy to please. Stick to business. Time will tell. In the meantime, I'll need you to help me out with my documentation. Of course. So, where are you coming from? Washington, D.C. She says it the way people in Hollywood movies say it. The way I suggest her Washington is wildly different from the Washington you and I would see. What were you doing there? Take a guess. Government work. Write that down. And ought to amuse Helene for a little bit. If you say so. Date and hour of arrival. She takes out a plane ticket and slides it toward me. It's all here. 1 a.m. Got it. Method of transit, plane, purpose of visit. Meeting with Prince ought to work just fine, I guess. Estimated duration of visit. Undefined. Right in 6 months if you really need to. Place of accommodation. Conditions of intended stay. The art hall. Conditions should be adequate. You tell me. I tend to be happy with their me. Home sweet home. I'm not certain I would feel particular at home here. That makes two of us. Curious. You have nothing holding you up here. The face of a blonde-haired friend appears in my mind's eye and vanishes. There's nothing holding me anywhere. I see. A prolonged silence. She stares into my eyes, and I return the stare. She's studying me. It's unnerving, but I do my best not to turn away. Eventually, she smiles. Didn't you say you were short on time? Oh god, yes. Kadir will kill me. I quickly begin to collect my stuff from underneath the table. You'll simply inform him I paid you a visit. He'll understand, and he'll pass it on to everyone who should be in the know. So, we're going to assume, not just because of the art hall mention, but we're going to assume that Catherine here is Toreador. There's a thing about Toreador. A thing that we wonder if Julia is aware of. So, you're basically a celebrity around here, huh? Not sure. Then again, celebdom is really easy to achieve in the city. You know what the trick is? If I did, I wouldn't be stuck in a fast food joint. Being exactly what people expect you to be. Yeah, still working on that part. Good. We'll see each other soon, I hope. The party tomorrow night? I, wasn't invited. She gives me a pitying look. I understand. Well, if not given the opportunity, we should make our own. I'll be in touch. Good night, Miss Weiss. I wish you a pleasant stay. Good night, and don't rush these things. You've got your whole life ahead of you. You're in a position where you can take it easy. Take your time. Get a different perspective. I nod and walk slowly out the door. I lose sight of the restaurant. I sprint towards the subway. Slow night? Not slow night. I wish. You're late again, by the way. I hope you have a good excuse. Kadir al-Asmai, the mighty sheriff of New York City, is not happy with me. No wonder. I met him in front of Elysium 30 minutes later than the time we had agreed on. I'm never going to get used to it not being the Elysium, just because of how we spoke about it in Swedish. We used less as a name and more as a noun. It is noun, right? Yeah. Yeah, well, Catherine fucking Weiss decided to arrive fashionably late. Unlikely story. She's supposed to be out of the city. I think I'm pulling your leg, boss. Feel free to check my report. Pass them all the official papers the way I do every other night. Kadir stares me down for a good few seconds, then his steely gaze softens. Serious? Weiss and McDonald's, with the mask and elegant clothes, surrounded by the smell of French fries and hamburger patties? That must have been one hell of a sight. Technically it was BBB, it's not McDonald's, but yeah. God, I made such a fool of myself. First thing I did, I quoted somebody calling her a weirdo, wanted to die on the spot. Serves you right, you walking faux pas. I've been trying to teach you to control your tongue, but you never learn. It's a new gaff every week with you. Still, it's good and bad news. The good news is Catherine has a fondness for vampires of humble beginnings. We watched she decided to see you in your, shall we say, natural habitat. She's one of those rich art scene assholes who seek out working class cred. I did say something about washing your tongue. The bad news is she's very astute. She can recognize a moron like you straight away. You never stood a chance at impressing her. Shut up. Still need me for anything here? I'll get on it straight away. I wouldn't be standing out here chatting with you if I hadn't taken care of my duties. 30 minutes is all it took to finish preparations for the big party. I'm about to see everyone off. Sorry. Couldn't be helped. I suppose it's more your loss than mine. I just wanted some company tonight, and you could really use the chance to appear here on official duties, so everyone can get to know your face. Heaven knows your fast food job isn't going to get you anywhere. You need to, what do they call it, hustle? You don't need to tell me that. It's not like being paraded around for a bunch of blue-blooded douchebags. He somehow managed to give me a painful nudge in the back without so much as a hint of visible movement. Language, you fool, they're coming out. Standing here in silence for 5 minutes and focus on not embarrassing yourself any further, will you? Got it. The first two silhouettes appear in the doorway of the art hall. An old man in a wheelchair, pushed forward by his young servant. I haven't seen either of them before. Very Michael Caine over this one. Wonder... Could be Nosferatu, but they tend to exaggerate Nosferatu a bit more, so probably not. Maybe a Tremere? Certainly dresses like most Tremeres I've met. That's a compliment. Mr. Payne, the night's still young. Hope you find the rest of it pleasant. Payne, the wheelchair. I've heard about him. Addison Payne, one of America's Camarilla's main connections to the government and Wall Street. Disabled in quite a few ways. Needs a servant to communicate. I'd be full of resentment if I was embraced in this condition. But apparently, Payne is nothing but grateful for his immortality. He keeps writing fervent defenses of the traditions and Camarilla customs. Stay silent. The word as he shakes Kadir's hand. He doesn't even deign to acknowledge me. Lazy's servant gives me a small bow. I return it. They leave. Kadir turns to the next person leaving. Hi, Regent. Can't wait to see you in your outfit. Spare me, Sheriff. These fancy dress parties cost me enough suffering without your help. I can only hope you haven't conspired with Helene to embarrass me with this gift. She points to a shrink-wrapped set of clothes she's carrying inside her coat. Kadir smirks briefly. You didn't have to. As you well know, Prince Panar displays a considerable foresight in the matter of party planning. Yes, if there's one thing she's definitely serious about, it's frivolities. A recognizable mortal quality. Especially for a prince. You ought to celebrate it, not oppose it. Don't worry, Sheriff, I'm a big girl who knows her etiquette. I will play your games, amuse the crowd a little bit, and return to my study as fast as possible. Ailing Sturbridge, High Regent of the Chantry of 5 Boroughs, a hero of the Battle of New York, the biggest warlock in town. Could be a prince herself if she didn't have her eyes on a bigger prize. Okay, we have a few words to look at now. Elysium, court trials for vampires, or a designated and peaceful place we can go to seek resolution. Often hidden in plain sight in notable public buildings, also used by mortals, such as museums, art galleries, and landmark government offices. NYC is pretty typical in this respect, as the current Elysium is a gallery in Queens called the Art Hall. Okay. Sheriff, an appointed officer who enforces the prince's edicts, and if Kadir is any measure, a real stick in the mud. A sheriff hunts down traitors and violators of the traditions. Only the greatest offenders are typically apprehended and brought back to be judged in front of an assembled court. In lesser cases, sheriffs act as judge, jury, and executioner. The principals at the schoolhouses of the Tremere, also known as chantries. Every chantry has a regent who oversees the education of all Tremere in attendance there. Regents may also hold positions on the Primogen Council and be active in the clan's strategic defenses. So here we have a Tremere. Ailing is a Tremere. Then I'm guessing in that case that what was the name of the other one? Well, the man. He is probably not Tremere then. Chantry, where the Tremere hang out. Lots of crusty books and smoking beakers type of place. Pain, that was it, yeah, imagine. Clan Tremere. Named after the 8th century Hermetic mage whose followers for a brief period... We didn't get Warlock. Oh, okay, because it's in here. Okay. For a brief period terrorized the world. The members of Clan Tremere today are only able to practice their reality-bending thaumaturgic arts as consuming fresh blood. This is because the Tremere of old fucked up in the relentless pursuit of immortality and were condemned. They have recently fallen into a great schism of competing houses, all vying for the title of rightful heir to the namesake's legacy, all about that rare artificial artifact, rare ancient artifact life. Nicknames include warlocks, emetics, or transgressors. Yeah, we've had 2 Tremere characters. No, that's a lie. We've had 1 Tremere character. It was a male vampire, pretty old one, named Zippo. Like the lighter. And he was not Primogen, but he worked closely with the Primogen or Tremere in Kalmar in the mid to late 2000s. Yeah, I'm actually mixed up my characters for a moment there because I thought that we had played 2 Tremere characters, but the other one was actually Ventru. Don't remember the Ventru's character's name though. That character was German. That I remember. Zippo was not. Zippo was Swedish. The thing is, nobody knows what that prize is. They only know it has something to do with the goal of her thaumaturgical research. Ever tried to find out what it is? Failed. Violently. Oh, I'm sure you're going to have fun. Miss Lewinsky here has just informed me Catherine Weiss is back in town. It's safe to assume she will join our festivities. You're kidding me! Oh, I'm not allowed to be quiet for now. It's not safe to assume, it's certain. She told me she will be here tomorrow night. Weiss, excellent. I'd love to catch up with her. The barely concealed venom in her voice clearly suggests that in fact she'd hate to catch up with her. Yes, looks like tomorrow night will be very special. And for now, I bid you adieu. And she's gone. There's some kind of story between Ailing and Weiss that I should be aware of? You say that? High Regent Sturbridge once attempted to call for a blood hunt on Vice. Fine, let's read Blood Hunt. Punishment: sentencing a vampire to final death at the thanks of their peers. The code of the kindred in the system for punishing transgression is the law of retaliation. Wow, why? I've heard 5 different versions of the story and all of them seem plausible. Catherine's relationship with the city is odd, to say the least. But hush, for now. He's obviously trying to kill the conversation, and the appearance of Thomas Arturo gives him a perfect way out. Mr. Arturo? Ah, alas my, keep up the good work, eh? Oh, this dude looks like, why is the actor's name not coming to me? Dr. Strangelove. Why can't I? My memory's so bad. Of course. Thomas Arturo, an architect by trade, he's a herald, a member of Prince Bernard's inner circle, an eccentric whose thoughts seem to be 10 times faster than his words. Oh, I thought that was going to be silenced because of the... Any tasks for me, Mr. Arturo? I'm almost ready to prove myself. Yes. He disappears into the night. Well, that was brief. Maybe I should stand in their way. I might force them to properly acknowledge my existence. You severely underestimate the dedication to ignoring whelps like you. Just in case you're serious, I beg of you, don't. I've been meaning to ask this for a while now, but never had the opportunity. You really hate Arturo's guts, don't you? He carefully measures his diplomatic response. I have no strong feelings about Thomas Arturo whatsoever. Yeah, well, considering you're always listing positives about every local Camarilla representative under the moon, you might as well call them a cunt. Language, whelp. As for Arturo, I will share my opinion about him as soon as I come up with one that sticks for more than a week. A group of kindred emerges from the art hall, rushing towards the streets. Only a noble-looking woman stops next to us. She's wearing a hijab, but curiously enough, doesn't hide her hair beneath it. Imogen? If you were rude enough to stare, you'd quickly notice the cloth serves mostly to cover up her horrifying scars. Actually, I was gonna say, here comes the Nosferatu, but it doesn't actually have to be. It can be several others, and considering we're so out of date with Will of Darkness, we don't even know if Nosferatu is Camarilla right now. Kadir. Oh, and young Julia. I'm doing my best not to stare because Samira is one of the few NYC Camarilla figures who hasn't been an asshole to me yet. Still here. Did the prince require the clan of the Hunt's counsel in some matter? Oh! It's okay. That's okay, hold on. I'm gonna get the actual clan name right without going into the dictionary, because it's not Bruja, it's the other one. Damn it. It's shit. I can't remember. No, I'm supposed to know this. No, I'm stuck. Damn it. I'm so disappointed in myself. I should know, like, the popular clans. Fine, I'll check the dictionary. What? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, they were not called that when I played. That explains it. Okay, yeah, the Banu Hakim. Called Assamites in the past, but that's basically a slur at this point. Yeah, that must have happened in between us playing, and now. Our new addition to the Camarilla only have joined a few years ago. Before that, they were independent from both the Cam and the Anarchs, and they were used as assassins for hire, supposed to be very good at their job too. Nowadays, it looks to me like they rebranded themselves as keepers of the law, which still give them the occasional chance to hunt somebody down, but no longer for payment in blood, as used to be the tradition, or at least not overtly. One member of the clan that I know well, Samira, is pretty cagey about this aspect of the Banu Hakim, but I've learned from a few other sources that members of the clan have a bit of a drinking problem. Once they taste another kindred's blood, they find it hard to stop. I mean, mood. The inclusion of the Camarilla seems to have stirred some discontent among the Tremere, as their lawmen also use a form of blood sorcery to boost their abilities and observe different rituals. Some of them clearly religiously motivated, own in no small part to the fact that the clan have been traditionally tied to Islam and the Middle East in general. Welp, yeah. Did we even really need to put whelp in the dictionary? Harpy. Kindred gossip master extraordinaire will often trade their wisdom for favors or political gain, while harpy originated as an insult, some are taken to turn back and wear it as a badge of pride. After all, who doesn't need a friend who has the dirt on anyone? Everyone, even. Yes, I advised her that no matter how hard she tries, she shouldn't expect me to wear a different costume tomorrow night. She's the Banu Hakim Primogen, just like the Lasambra. Their clan was independent from the Camarilla until relatively recently. Sometimes I could just skip reading the dictionary. They negotiated a better deal than we did. They have a Primogen, for one. Hailing from the Middle East, the Banu Hakim are drawn to the practice of justice. The rules must be upheld, and every transgression punished. I can imagine there's been a lot of revisions made since we last read about them, not just because of the name, because World of Darkness used to be really racist. And honestly, from what I've heard, still is, but not as much. God, tabletop RPGs. Board games, actually. Board games, tabletop RPGs, like, not to say video games don't have a racism problem and general issue with, like, depictions of marginalized communities and all these things. They do. They most certainly do. But board games and tabletop RPGs, they're way worse. Like, they are so many decades behind most of the time. And yeah, Vampire the Masquerade is World of Darkness. World of Darkness is Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse, Hunter the Reckoning, Mage the something. I think there's more, but Vampire is the big one. But yeah, we haven't played the actual tabletop World of Darkness since late 2000s. They don't have much to say in NYC, but the prince often seek their judgment. It's just good PR. I trust you with understanding. Those are beautiful clothes. Thank you so much. I'm eager to see the outfit you came up with. How are you, Julia? Have you seen any lights at the end of the tunnel? Yeah, I've seen, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty certain it's a train. I thought that was the positive pick. See, okay, so this is a thing that bugs me with video games. Video games that have dialogue options, but then don't actually tell you what you're about to say. Because you always end up in situations like this where you were trying to be positive. And like, no, you said something cynical and depressing instead. Yay. I thought that she was referring to Samara. That was her name, right? Please tell me that was her name. Oh, these are put in a very odd order. No, not Tremere. Not Lasambra. Wait, where's... There. Samira, sorry. But no, of course not. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's a train. Sorry to hear that. I trust you're pestering the prince and your superiors to improve your standing. Sorry that I'm rolling the R's. It's the voice I decided to do. That might sound bad. I'm gonna avoid doing that. It's a process. Oh, Julia, you won't achieve anything if you don't keep reaching for it. Kadir, aren't you supposed to teach her the ropes? I'm trying to, Primogen, but with this child, it's always a process. I only wish you good luck then. Good night, Julia. Good night, Kadir. Good night. Have a safe trip. The art hole has to be almost empty by now. You like her, don't you? Stop it with your class clown act. Well, it only serves to reveal deep insecurities. Wow, that's harsh. It's factual. Were I as harsh as you claim, she did tell us both to call her Samira, but you still keep your distance with that Primogen shit. Watch your profanity. Don't project your fantasies onto me. I won't give you a lesson about professional boundaries, but I suspect the way you will eventually learn it will be extremely unpleasant. Oh god, no! Oh no, 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 I hate you already! Oh no! Oh no! Sir Fuckboy is here. This looks like the... Okay, this is gonna be... I'm going to be showing a bit of prejudice on my part here, but like... This dude looks exactly like the worst type of LARPer. The dudes that went to our LARP sessions and were just the most frustrating person imaginable. Am I interrupting something, good folks? Even though I'm constantly pestering him, Kadir's composure is unshaken. His response comes swift and unfazed. Not at all, Mr. Wonderwade. Heading back to your office. You know me, my dear sheriff. Where else would I go? Now that's curious. Even though Carter Wonderwade is a Primogen as well, Malkavian, to be precise, I don't hear Kadir address him as such. Hope to see you tomorrow night. I will absolutely show up, provided I can. But just in case, I already apologize for not making it to the prince. Simply drowning in work these days. The rhythms, the tempo, and intonation patterns of his voice are so familiar. Half of it sounds like JFK, the other half exactly like Barack Obama. Oh, that's not at all how I played him, but okay. Just like his appearance, it all feels so fake. He's so old money, of course, comes from a long line of Dutch merchants who have originally settled in the New York region. Runs a widely successful law office, runs elbows with elites of both kindred and kind of verities alike. Okay, so he's effectively like an annoying Wall Street dude. He's perfect in every way, and that's why he's so unnerving. He's a child of Malkav and must be blighted with some affliction, but whatever it is, he doesn't let it show. Hard not to wonder what he's hiding. What are you talking about? Did you see his sprite? The celebrations are planned to last all week. Sure, you will find the time. I pray I will, my good man. I pray I will. In case you need to reach me, you know where to find me. Have a good one. I wasn't even registering my presence before leaving. Sometimes I think they're all still hoping I will simply go away. I hate Malkavians. Well, I don't, actually. I like Malkavians. I hate the way people insist on playing Malkavians. Like when we mentioned that the most annoying people at our LARP sessions, the people that went there and were the worst to play with, they always played fucking Malkavians. So yeah, big fucking red flag for me seeing a Malkavian that looks like that. As Carter drives away in his limousine, of course he has a fucking limousine. Kadir shakes his head. You wanted to hear about which member of New York City Camarillos I dislike the most? Yes? He shoots me a knowing glance and smirks. Too bad. They're all my dear colleagues, and I deeply respect every single one of them. Sure you do. We don't want to blurt out something that could lock you out of Mr. Wonderraden's legal services. Would you, you ask, Kisser? I do expect to find myself in need of a good defense attorney when my broken, competent, and foul-mouthed assistant finally pushes me over the edge. Rude. You still need me here? I still need to swing by St. Patrick's tonight. Don't worry, we're almost done. The prince is coming out. Captain's the last person to leave the ship, huh? And there she is, Helene Pennard, the big kahuna as someone I once knew would call her, the de facto ruler of New York City and a self-processed patron of the arts. Okay, not what I expected. Okay. Kadir, a penny for your thoughts. You should be pleased to hear the High Regent is resigned to her fate, my prince. Mr. Wonderraden has decided not. I suspect he will be too busy to join the festivities all the week through. Excellent. She turns to me. Miss Owinski, weren't you supposed to accompany our good sheriff in his duties tonight? There was an unexpected change of plans. Catherine Weiss is back in the city. Catherine is here. Now that's a welcome surprise. But what does it have to do with you, Miss Owinski? She said she didn't want to trouble you with all the paperwork regarding her arrival, Prince Pennard. It's all been taken care of. Kadir has already been informed of everything. That's certainly a nice gesture, but wait a minute now. Where exactly did you meet her? In a fast food restaurant, my prince. I see. Helene rubs her eyes. Catherine and her love for proletarian amusement. I suppose it will be a source of amusing anecdotes this week. If you want to avoid this situation in the future, it might be a good time to discuss offering Miss Owinski an office of her own. We'll get to it eventually. There are more pressing matters at hand. The festivities start tomorrow, and there's still so much to be done. Will you make sure they are totally secure before leaving? Certainly, my prince. Have a good night. Good night, Kadir. Good night, Miss Owinski. We'll talk about your work soon, don't worry. Of course. Good night, Prince Pennard. A chauffeur escorts her to a limo. There's an awkward silence between me and Kadir until the car disappears around the corner. More pressing matters, huh? And for your thoughts, Sheriff? I'm certain an image of a keeper of the Elysium stuck in a fast food restaurant will linger in Prince Pennard's mind. You're far closer to your goal than you were a few minutes ago. Pretty sure I've heard you say something to that effect a few times now. I stand by my words. Rome wasn't built in a day, Julia. As a Camarilla loyalist, don't you think it sucks that the Ivory Tower is so hell-bent on showing disrespect to my clan? They're actually willing to make fools of themselves in the process. We've all had to endure our own hazing rituals, but yes, the current situation is not ideal. Whatever. Need a hand closing up the Elysium? I'll manage. It's getting late. Better run. Some shadow in Chicago is probably impatient to get a copy of the reports you've given me. You pleased one master, now it's time to please the other. Yeah, here's the thing about working two masters. Neither of them really thinks of you as their own. Not knowing how to reply, Kadir shrugs. I wave to him goodbye and head for the subway. When I reach St. Patrick's Cathedral, I'm greeted by a voice that grates on me like teeth on tinfoil. Well, the prodigal daughter returns. Oh my god, no. This is the one thing I didn't want to happen. Julia, please, thou shalt not take thy name of the Lord thy God in vain. Where's Father Leonard? His clergy duties keeps him from getting out on time. He sent me to apologize in his name to keep you company for a few minutes. It's the second thing he ought to apologize for. He has wanted his flock to live in unity. I am more than willing to oblige him, why won't you? For the last time, I'm not part of his flock. We have a purely professional arrangement. I know you see it that way. The Knights Clan's tendency to stick close to the Catholic Church is the greatest. The Knight Clan's tendency to stick close to the Catholic Church is their greatest virtue, but they still consider this relationship purely instrumental. This is why we need kindred like you to bring the spiritual change to your clan. Make them understand God's precious gift. The closer they get to the light, the greater the shadows will become. Again with this insufferable sermonizing. Benoit Segal here is a local nutjob and an ex-artist, a degenerate who had some sort of complete mental breakdown in the 90s. To recover, he took to religion for solace and guidance. First, he proclaimed his readiness to devote the rest of his own life to studying Nodism. After a few years, though, he changed his mind and joined the Catholic Church instead. As luck would have it, his neophyte zeal found a major target in me. When I first met him, I was stupid enough to tell him I was raised Catholic, and I still identified as such, somewhat. He immediately pictured me as some sort of force for change within the Camarilla, and set out to put me back on the righteous path. He won't stop preaching to me apparently until I become a nun. Remember, the darkest place is directly beneath the candle. You turncoats have this unfortunate predisposition to find salvation right within your grasp, then lose your way in the shadows. Christ, once he starts, he just won't stop. This is time to bring out the big guns. By the way, I was meaning to ask, are there any news about Sophie Langley? A painful grimace crosses his face but doesn't linger. Kinda rude to change the subject, you know? Rude. I'm just looking for a topic both sides of this conversation would care about, you know, like any guide of etiquette says you should. Salvation is a topic close to anyone's heart, whether they admit it or not. Pretty bold of you to assume I still care about Langley. Do not assume, I'm certain you do. The second she retires from public eye, you stop acting like Jesus era Kanye and start acting like Jesus is King era Kanye. Coincidence? I've never had a Jesus era. People really call it that? It's how it's going to work. Tell me what you know, I'll tell you what to say. And keep in mind, I didn't know she was your sire until a few nights ago. Hell, I haven't even met her. He winces at me a bit. He winces at me a bit, saying, "Hell, let's it go." Okay. So this is these characters appear there or something? Sure, I figure you would have prodded that one long ago if you knew, but why do you care anyway? I let you drone on about your tormented past and let you carry on with your good missionary shtick. Professional curiosity, once a journalist, always a journalist. He scratched his head and exhales in a sad mockery of a chuckle. Fine, I'll do my best to make it short. Just like you said, Sophie Langley, every New York kindred's beloved socialite, was my sire. We first met some time after World War II. I left France right before the Nazis went around the Maginot Line. I struggled to keep my siblings alive with my aunt. I watched my brother die during the flu epidemic in '43. I was close to losing my mind. And when she showed up, she said to sheer torment in my work caught her eye. She became a patron, allowed my talents to flourish, and supported me financially. And eventually, she embraced me. As a well-off kindred, my artistic interests started to naturally deviate from what they used to be back when I was a poor mortal upstart. Began to see the world the way her social circle does. And that she couldn't forgive. Instead of being a fun novelty, I became another part of the Malay surrounding her. She grew distant and stopped seeing me altogether. I had my share of meltdowns because of this, I won't deny that. I locked myself out of many career opportunities, but it was an important lesson. And trust your elders. Vampirism affects them psychologically as well. If they take an interest in you, they won't stop until they suck your soul dry and then discard you like a broken toy. For the first time since I know him, Segal registers me as something other than a Bible-thumping nuisance. It's compassion I feel? Do I find him relatable? How dreadful. It's possible he's strategically trying to elicit sympathy. Maybe he heard about my dramatic exit from Lodestar. Maybe he's just alluding to the way my sire left me here to fend for myself. It's only God who will never lead you astray. Is this why I find your act so frustrating, Yulia? You're so close to getting it, but you show sin instead. There's the Benoit Segal I know. Almost had me fooled there. Let's get back on track. What about Langley's disappearance from the city? Her path was a road to perdition. Wherever she ended up, I doubt she's too happy about it. She had plans for the future of the city. Wanted to make her ultimate artwork. She was always the main one. And of course, you are completely sure you have nothing to do with her disappearance? Please don't tell me you're getting what you think you're getting. Everybody says you've been acting like you're trying to repent for something ever since her vanishing act. You've got a motive. Of course I'm getting at what you think I'm getting at. Benoit shakes his head. You really have the devil in your heart, Julia. Always testing me. Just asking what everyone's thinking. Oh dear now. Listen, I'm familiar with a lot of the insults to my name in the city. Attached to my name in the city? Those aren't exactly compatible with the image of a ruthless killer. Killer, huh? That's interesting. I haven't said anything about killing. He scrubs his hand over his forehead and collects himself for responding. Stop picking apart every word I say in this completely unpleasant way. Get a statement if you really want one, Miss Hercule Poirot. I do believe Sophie, the way I knew her, has met her end. Even if she's still walking this earth, she wouldn't come back here as the same prideful aristocrat. She'd have to undergo a spiritual rebirth. Someone has reminded her of her place. Her former friends talk of her in hushed voices. Even that servant played toy of her when missing. No more Camarilla parties. She's done for. Whatever happened to her, I don't know. I swear on Jesus and his sandals. I had nothing to do with it. But yes, I'm still here, and she's not. And it's not a reason to gloat, but to be more humble. I received a sign from God, telling me to re-examine all of the fortunate ways I still resemble Sophie Langley. I listened. I rejected the pride I shared with her. I renewed my vows to God, recommitted to preaching His greatness. I mean, this is why we're having this conversation in the first place. Right now, when I think of Langley's influence in my life, I'm grateful. She was a sign that got me here, and God's wills it. Maybe one day you'll look at her the same way, Julia. Mental note. Whenever he circles back to his preachy tone, it's time to intervene. Alright. If it makes you feel any better, I think the only way a wimp like you could have hurt her was by boring her to death with Bible quotes. Now then, quid pro quo tit for tat. You were saying people still talk about me. I was curious if... Oh, look who's finally here. Stalling for time worked. Father Leonard rushes in their directions, carrying a folder of documents under his arm. I assume it's the one I came here for. Father Leonard? Christ be praised, Julia. Yesterday I was told this is how priests greet their parishioners. Parishioners in Eastern Europe? Forever and ever, amen. Actually, I think we said each other's lines. Never mind, another long night. Isn't it taking a toll on you? No need to worry. These days, just sleep a few hours a day, short naps can take care of the rest. There's always work to be done. I apologize for being late. At least managed to get here before you and Benoit went for each other's throats. Good. Getting worried. Who do you take me for, father? Takes you for a total bozo who's about as effective at converting people as a documentary about pedophilia and the Catholic Church. Oh, yeah, okay. Who's about as effective at converting people as a documentary about pedophilia and the Catholic Church. He's just too kind to say it out loud. Ouch. You won't have to deal with father. Don't worry, we'll make a saint of her yet. Forget saint. For now, I'll just settle for an adult in the room. Isn't that what you are for? I've been patient with that role, but by now you kids should be moving out, not leaving crayon marks on the walls and throwing food around anytime Daddy's not looking. Let's just focus on our grown-up duties, shall we, Julia? Here. He gives me the folder he was carrying with him, and I pass him the reports I wrote early tonight. Among kindred, it is common knowledge that the Catholic Church is one of the La Sombra's greatest assets. Hell, it might even be one of the main reasons the Camarilla is slowly warming up to the clan. We are technologically impaired, and as such woefully unprepared to face the challenges of communicating in the 21st century. Hard to handle advanced encryption when you can't even unlock a smartphone. This is where the Vatican connections enter the picture. A web of priests scattered all around the world exchange their dispatches between each other, making sure they all reach their destination in total secrecy. I was told not everyone in the Holy See is friendly to our kind, but the most shrewd and talented usually are. You say they're like a mortal Camarilla, better than any intelligence agency. Remember what happened to John Paul I when he attempted to uncover the workings of the Institute for the Works of Religion? Death after 33 days of papacy. Rumor of CIA and Masonic involvement. Not that Father Leonard has anything to do with any of this. For a Catholic priest, he's alright. He probably have made me stay a believer a few years longer than I did, had I known him as a teenager. Leonard is intelligent, kind, helpful towards his parishioners, treats his superiors with a healthy dose of skepticism, and is not involved in any sort of political church games. Well, at least not beyond helping me contact my bosses in Chicago every other night or so. He knows about the kindred, and he knows about the Second Inquisition. He opted to avoid the latter in order to keep the former from oppression, but because, according to him, it's the right thing to do. I know there's gotta be something wrong with him. Some selfish motivation, maybe. And I haven't nailed it down just yet. But it doesn't feel like he's making an effort to hide it. So I'm giving him a pass. By the way, I hope you don't mind. I finally took the liberty of asking how your parents are doing. Thank you, Father, but you shouldn't have. Not a problem. A priest is Santa Claus cost guy is a good friend. He says your parents started showing up every Sunday again. Front rows. Your father's looking better and better. Makes me feel nothing. I still give him a token nod and a grateful smile. Thank you, Father Leonard. If you excuse me, the sunrise is almost here. Yes, be careful. And God bless you. Amen. Goodbye, Julia. Let you off the hook this time, but next time you won't be so lucky, alright? Sure, there's one more thing on my never-ending list of events I'm not looking forward to. Guess it's time to call it a night. I'm home. So, does she talk to herself when she gets home, or is there actually gonna be someone here? Yes, I was hooked! Oh, I knew it! Ah. Yeah, when I read Dakota's name in the phone conversation in the prologue, I was like, that's the girlfriend, right? That's the girlfriend. Here she is. Finally, you doing alright? Fine, I guess. Aren't you asleep? I figured it's finally time for me to become more of a night owl. Talking about making our schedules sync better. Watch your vitamin D. I'd kill to have your skin. Would be ashamed to waste it. Shouldn't have smelled so much before you got bitten, sweetheart. Should have shared your skincare routine with me back when I was still breathing. Can't just be going around sharing my one secret weapon. It's top secret stuff, MK Ultra level. Jeffrey Epstein's current whereabouts level. I had to kill you if I told you. Was this released before or after Epstein's suicide? Or should I say, alleged suicide? I'm not a conspiracy theorist, just playing along. Okay then, love you too, hun. Come on, what's with the attitude? Nothing. He just thought that we're beyond hiding secrets from each other. I guess I was wrong. Okay, I get it. I really do. Time out, you're not really mad, are you? No. It's just my inner asshole teasing you. Never mind. I feel a little more self-conscious than usual tonight. Yeah, vampires have this thing where we get really stubborn about things. We can get very petty about things, and yeah. It was weeks after? Okay. Don't. You want me to do your makeup before you go to sleep? No need. No need. Aren't you supposed to have some sort of big party tomorrow night? I was involved in backstage stuff. What makes you think I was invited? Because you're the coolest, cutest, and most all-around amazing person I know? It'd be insane not to put you on the short list. Believe it or not, but most vampires are pretty insane. Interdimensional psychic vampire level insane? Because that's how crazy it had to be to ignore you like this. Yeah, I would say so. Fuck them then! A big bunch of posh dicks. They hate you because it ain't you. We'll see. Jesus, how do you do it? What? You always assault me with so much of this weird, stupid positivity that I can't react to without completely shifting my mental attitude. How do you do it? The answer is easy. Remember how I told you we have this spiritual connection? I can sense what you feel and want? You can sense what I feel too if you really focus. Yeah, I think I called it a big load of bullshit. Said a girl who talks to ghosts. Watch this, Agent Scully. I sensed you feeling down and I realized what you really needed to end this night. She points to one of her drawers. It's the one where she keeps her supply of... So tempted to just leave it here. Just... can be so many things. Could go very wholesome and innocent and she is talking about makeup. Could be talking sex toys. Drugs? I don't remember how drugs actually work on vampires in VTM. They might have to spend blood to get the effects of them. Oh, we have a dictionary. Ah, a bunch of unread ones. Wait, when did we meet that Clan Toreador? Oh, Kadir's one of them. Okay, that's cool. But oh, they don't mention it here. That's interesting. They don't mention my favorite Toreador detail. Okay, let's see what's in the drawer. Okay. Ketamine, come on. What? No, wrong drawer. We're not meeting demons. We're meeting angels. MDMA. Ding ding ding! Took it a half hour ago. Perfect timing, thanks to our spiritual connection. Ready to fly away? The mood isn't right. I need music. Got a special SoundCloud playlist ready to go, prepared specifically to uplift one Julia Sawinski. Just give me a sign and I'll press play. Jesus, you're impossible. That's why you love me, I hope. Give up. Come here. Let me have a taste of you. Maybe just one time, the high won't end. Oh, perfect. So you actually get a rest scene when it's time to rest. That is where we end for tonight. This is really good so far. It's an interesting choice to have it focused on Alhambra. I think that's cool. And now the title makes perfect sense, Shadows of New York. I mean, that title could have been used for anything, but, you know, obviously it has double meaning here because of the Alhambra. Yeah, this is really good. We were a little worried at first when they brought up the rule of, like, you know, you have to cut off the people you knew in life, and not reveal yourself to the ones you knew in life. Because I figured, oh, that means if Dakota was her girlfriend, then either like we're gonna have to cut her off, or it's gonna be some kind of, like, later in the story, sudden meeting up again and cause trauma. But having this nice closer to the first night instead it's good. It's good stuff. Very good writing. Yeah, we dig it. We like this a lot. We will continue this next week. This weekend, actually, let me just switch over to the talk screen. There we go. Hello. We will continue this next week. As for tomorrow, no, not tomorrow. Sunday. I think it's Sunday. On Sunday we have Pokemon. We're doing a Pokemon Nuzlocke in Brilliant Diamond. It was originally going to be Pokemon Sword. People voted for Brilliant Diamond instead. There is a risk still that we might have to change the game out because I haven't sorted out the Elgato capture just yet. We do have an Elgato capture card, it's just that we only have one monitor, which might be an issue. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, thank you for joining the stream. Remember to please follow this channel if you want to watch more of Vampire Masquerade Shadows of New York, and of course other Vampire Masquerade games and other Vampire games in general. I have a lot of Vampire games planned, but yeah, for now it's time for us to return to our casket. And enough. We need to be up in a couple of hours. So I will see you later, dear Kindred. Bye.